You have too many obsessions, too many half-finished projects, and too many people telling you to just pick one thing already. What if the problem was never you? What if it was the advice? You look at your life and you see a dozen different paths, and somehow, impossibly, they all feel like you. You're not scared of hard work, you've proven that. What actually paralyzes you is choosing, because choosing one thing feels like quietly killing off the other 9. There's a name for this. It's called the scanner's dilemma, and it's perfectly captured in one sentence that you've probably said to yourself more than once. I could do anything if I only knew what it was. Society has a label ready for people like you. They call you a dilettante, jack of all trades, master of none. And that label carries a specific kind of anxiety with it. The fear that your greatest strength, your curiosity, might actually be the thing sabotaging your entire career. Today, we're taking that anxiety apart completely. Here's where the old advice fails you. For most of the last century, the world rewarded specialists. It made sense, because the world itself operated like a chessboard. The rules were fixed, the path was clear. Go deep into one narrow lane and stay there for 40 years. Psychologists call this a kind learning environment. Predictable, repetitive, rewarding consistency above everything else. But that's not the world anymore. Today we live in what's called a wicked learning environment. The rules shift constantly. Feedback arrives late, if it arrives at all, and the patterns that used to guarantee success simply don't hold the way they used to. Think about the difference between a golfer and a firefighter. A golfer plays in a kind environment, same rules every single time, immediate feedback. A firefighter lives somewhere else entirely. Every fire is different. Every building, every situation, completely new. Specialized training only gets them so far before instinct and adaptability have to take over. That's the world you're operating in, and it's exactly why the old advice, pick one thing, go deep, ignore everything else, feels like it's failing you. Because it might genuinely not be built for the world you're living in. So if the specialist path isn't the only path, what is? You need to stop thinking in job titles and start thinking in shapes. The specialist is what's called I-shaped. One deep pillar, nothing else. The opposite is dash-shaped, a mile wide, an inch deep, which is the trap most curious people fall into. You know a little about everything and feel like you're standing on nothing. But there's a third shape, and it's the one built specifically for people like you. It's called M-shaped, the polymath. Picture it like this. One leg goes deep into something like data analysis. That pays your bills and gives you real expertise. Your second leg goes deep into something completely different, maybe storytelling, maybe design. And running across the top, connecting both legs, are all your other interests. Psychology, history, whatever pulls at your attention, suddenly you're not a distracted generalist anymore. You're the person who can take complex data and turn it into a story an entire room actually understands. That combination is rare, and rare is valuable. The mechanism behind this is something researchers call far transfer. A specialist uses near transfer, applying a skill to a problem that looks almost identical to ones they've solved before. But a polymath does something different. They see the underlying structure in one field and apply it somewhere completely unrelated. Someone who understands how tree roots branch might look at a company's broken database and suddenly see exactly how to restructure it. A musician who understands counterpoint might look at messy code and instantly see a cleaner architecture hiding underneath it. That's far transfer, seeing the music, not just the individual notes. And every strange, seemingly disconnected interest you've collected over the years, that's not wasted time. That's your private library of metaphors. The raw material for insights other people simply can't generate because they never collected the dots in the first place. So how do you actually build this kind of life without falling apart from the overwhelm? The first principle is serial mastery. You cannot build every pillar simultaneously that just collapses back into the shallow dash shape you're trying to escape. Pick one, commit to it for a season, 6 months, maybe 18, and here's the part that removes most of the anxiety. You are not choosing for the rest of your life. You're choosing for this season only. Pick whichever pillar offers the most stability right now, or whichever one currently has the most energy behind it. Build it until you hit real fluency, not mastery. Just enough competence that you're not constantly running back to a manual. When that curiosity feels satisfied, you don't quit out of frustration. You graduate, deliberately, and you move to the next pillar. If this is making sense to you right now, this is exactly the moment to grab something I built for this. Stick with me, because right after this, I'm going to show you exactly how to apply it to your own life. The second principle involves your day job, and this might surprise you. A low-stress, stable job isn't a failure to escape. It can actually be a strategic asset. Einstein worked as a patent clerk while his mind quietly built the foundations of modern physics. That job wasn't holding him back. It was the stable ground that gave his curiosity room to wander. A high-passion, high-stress career might look exciting from the outside, but if it consumes everything you have, there's nothing left over for the exploration your brain actually needs to feel alive. And the final piece is a system, because your mind generates far more ideas than it can hold on to. Your working memory is a small workbench, not a warehouse. If you don't move finished thoughts off that bench, there's no room left to build anything new. The sociologist Niklas Luhmann published over 70 books using exactly this principle. He never tried to write a whole book at once. He wrote single ideas onto small cards, linked them to related cards, and let that web slowly grow over decades until the books practically assembled themselves. So when you fall into a week-long obsession with something completely random, write it down, put it somewhere external, let the obsession fade without guilt. Because 3 years later, working on something else entirely, you might stumble onto those old notes and realize the answer was sitting there the entire time. You were never a dabbler who lacks grit. You're a scanner, a potential polymath. Your mind wasn't built for the narrow, stable lane of a specialist. It was built to be a bridge between worlds that most people never think to connect. Pick your first pillar. Build it with real focus. Let your job be a platform, not a cage, and build a system that catches every spark before it disappears. You were never meant to master one thing. You were meant to see how everything connects. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who's been told their curiosity is a problem instead of a gift. And if you're ready to actually map this out for yourself, the next video walks you through building that very first pillar, step by step.